Kia ora, my name's Zoe Stebe, your vocal coach for today, and I help singers go from feeling frustrated and overwhelmed about their voices to singing confidently, clearly, and without flaws. In today's video, we're going to be looking at how you can sing better today, like immediately. So stay tuned for my top tips. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and consider hitting the subscribe button. I bring out videos just like this one every single week because I want you to sing better. The first thing about singing better is starting with a warm-up. It's really important that you get your vocal folds making contact together cleanly and without scratching, without pushing, without pressing. And that way, with a vocal warm-up, you can start to get the voice moving, have a feel for how you're feeling on that day, and set yourself up for success with your technical exercises. A really simple warm-up that I always recommend, and I start every single lesson, is the siren. You can see a really comprehensive video up here. I would recommend you take that right from the bottom of your range right to the top and back down again. If you don't have the time or you don't fancy doing it with a piano, then you can just try quickly going sing, and making sure that you're sliding through all of those notes, making sure it's not too loud and that you're not pressing the voice together. That takes us actually quite perfectly into my tip number 2 for singing better instantly. And that is to warm up your body. So with that siren exercise, you can warm up your body at exactly the same time. I always like to start with shoulder rolls for obvious reasons. The shoulders connected to the neck muscles, connected to the chest muscles, all help with our singing. If you were to do that siren exercise, for example, on a lip trill, you could do shoulder rolls at the same time. Yeah, multitasking at its best. Warm-ups don't have to take a particularly long amount of time, but I want you to spend at least 5 minutes just getting your body moving, getting your voice moving for the day. My top tip number 3 is I want you to work on your intonation, which means the note that you're singing or your pitching. How can you work on that? That comes through the scales that you start to practice. You can have a look at my warm-up playlist up here for more scales and arpeggios. However, scales are not just to warm up the voice, but they're also technical exercises as well, which help you with pitch accuracy, timing, and intonation. It's really important, and I must admit, it's often an overlooked exercise. I want you to start with a really simple intonation exercise. We're just going to take a 5-note scale up and back down. And I want you to think about singing every single note and not sliding between them. You try it now on an E vowel. Couple again on an E. Let's try it again. 2 more. Excellent. As I said with the warm-up siren exercise, I want you to check out one of my 5-note scale exercises up there because I want you to take that up the top of your range and back down again. It's really important that you don't just focus on one specific part of your range, but that you also work on extending the range as well. You can also use an app to practice your intonation. Actually, I highly recommend you use an app. My favorite free app at the moment is called Nail the Pitch. I'll put a link in the description below. As I say, completely free. You can then see the note that you're singing as you're singing it in real time. And I think it costs about €1.90 or less than €2 anyway, if you'd like to buy the professional version, and then you can record yourself singing and play it back. which is also another great thing to have. Tip number 4 is I want you to record yourself singing. And I want you to record yourself when you're singing your warm-up exercises and when you're doing your scales. The reason is that your ears are placed quite far away from your mouth, and you often hear what you're singing incorrectly. So the way that you can get better at your intonation, your timing, and just singing in general is you record yourself. When you've finished, you can play it back and take note of where the parts were that you thought, okay, I didn't quite catch that, or here, this could be better. Tip number 5 is communication. I want to make sure that you're telling a story when you're singing. It doesn't matter if you're singing rock, pop, classical, musical theater. If you don't understand the words that you are singing, then how can you expect your audience to understand them at all? I mean, they just won't understand them. For every song that you sing, I want you to think about who are you in the song, what are you singing about, and who are you singing to? It's really important that when you're singing your song, that you sing it as if you're actually talking to someone. The idea of singing is that it's where words fail or where words are not enough, and therefore we need to sing it because it is a heightened emotion. So when you think about who you're singing it to and actually singing it to that person, you will instantly boost your communication skills and draw your audience into your song. My next tip is that I want you to take a deep breath and just remember that all good things take time. Your singing journey may have already begun, you may be stuck in a rut, or you might just be starting this year with a new hobby. But like with any muscle in the body, it takes time to get used to these new movements. So don't expect that changes are going to happen overnight. But they might happen in 5 weeks, 10 weeks. You're going to see some really, really big changes if you put in the work. It's so important that you have consistent practice and conscious practice. That, as I said, back in tip number 4, record yourself, reflect back on what you're doing, and then set your goals for the next part of your practice. Don't just expect to sing through a couple of karaokes on YouTube and like osmosis that it's going to come to you. You can do it. I know that everybody can learn to sing. It's just going to take a little bit of time. So don't be disappointed. You are going to get there. How about trying for the next 66 days, practicing for just 10 minutes a day on something really specific? It might be the chorus of a song or one of the vocal warm-ups that I mentioned before. It could be working on just one octave. Try it for 66 days, and I promise you that you will make an improvement. Don't forget to stick around to the end of the video when I give you my most important tip when it comes to singing better. My next tip and how you can sing better is to change the key of your song. I want you to find a key that makes your voice sound the best. And that doesn't necessarily mean the original key is the correct one for you. If you take the song down just a teeny little bit, I promise you that one of those songs where maybe 1 or 2 notes are like out of reach for you, suddenly the lower, easier part of the song will become more resonant, more rich, more powerful, and those high notes will be well within your current ability. The original tracks like you hear on Spotify are also often recorded a half a step higher than the singers perform on stage. My last and most important tip for you to sing better is pain does not equal gain. Let me repeat that for you. Take a deep breath. Pain does not equal gain. Pain is not good when you are singing. I do not want you to strain, press, push, or any of those horrible words to try and get your voice up to the top of the range. This mostly happens when we are trying to sing louder in the top part of our range, and I want you to think about relaxing a little bit. If you notice that you have a feeling of pricking, or I always like to think about it like pins and needles, then please stop. If you feel like you've just sung a note and at the end you need to cough, please stop. Coughing is a sign that your vocal folds have had a little bit too much and you might be pushing it, or you might be singing a little bit too loud. It's really important that you listen to the signs that your voice is trying to tell you, because your vocal folds are actually about the size of your pinky fingernail. But I want you to think about these tiny little vocal folds. They give you these signals by loss of function. So that means if suddenly your voice goes like this after you've done a bit of singing for a wee while, or you have a feeling like everything is closing in, or if you feel like you're coughing, they're all really negative signs. And you just need to stop, take a deep breath, and go back to that tip number 4, which was to record yourself and see what you were doing. Maybe your shoulders were going up. Maybe you were pushing. Maybe you were straining. But I want you to make sure that you are singing your songs easily and freely and without any type of pressure or pushing. That will not help you with those top notes. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've got something out of this video. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and consider hitting the subscribe button, because I bring out videos just like this one every single week. I want to help you sing clearly, confidently, and without flaws. And obviously, like I mentioned today, without strain and without pushing. I want to make it easy for you. So believe in yourself. You can do it. Sing confidently. And I'll see you next week. Ka kite anō.